So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cd into the submodule, and I can run yarn test to run my tests. And my one test passes. So let's run through what this does. If you run CY ingest, what we do is we mock the standard in and standard out. Okay, we are actually placing a shortcut to provide a standard in via an argument, but that's just for essentially for testing only. But so we run the ingest command, providing it the path to a fixture file, which is here in test fixtures, and strict violation is a markdown document without a title. It's bare bones, right? And so our first test says run the command and pass the path to the file to the command, and then the output on standard out should be should first of all pass and be valid JSON, and it should end up as a JSON object containing a null title and the content like so, right? And then what we want to do is we also want to get the date from that payload, and we should say it should be within 1 second of now, right? So that's essentially what we're testing with that command. And if I do run the command, so normally once you've installed the CLI, you should be seeing CY ingest, right, to run the command. But because we're in development mode, we're going to use .bin/run, and what we're going to do is we're going to say, like, in fact, hold on, I can make this a little bit easier for people to visualize. It's going to go into my ZSH config here and create an alias, or yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say path, and I'm going to consider that everything in the relative directory bin I should consider on my path. And in fact, I like to do the same thing with scripts. Okay, so I'm just going to resource that file, and that should update my aliases in ZSH. And now if I say run, I get the tool. And just to give us maybe a better idea of what the final product is going to look like, I'm just going to copy that run command to CY. So now I can say CY ingest, and I get the ingested value of nothing, right? Cool. But okay, so that's actually not closing at the end, so that we have to figure out what's happening there. And then if we cat a file into it, so if we, let's cat the, so cat is essentially just like a print. I'll show you what it does by itself if you're not familiar. So there, that's just going to print the contents of the file we give it. But what we can do is we can use this pipe operator to pipe it into CY ingest, and we now have this document interpreted as JSON. Okay, so that is our first feature done, and that it looks like that completes, but for some reason the empty case doesn't complete. And to be honest, I'm not planning to use the empty case at all, so I'm not going to bother to fix that right now. Not all bugs deserve to be fixed, at least not now, not immediately. Okay, so what's the next thing we want to be able to do with our ingest command? Well, I want to make sure that the title gets interpreted, right? So I'm going to write another test. Yoink. And paste. And it prints. That's grammatically incorrect. Shame on me. Okay, so now we want to say it prints. Okay, so what this test is an ingested JSON version of, let's say, a simple file. It prints an ingested JSON version of a complicated file. So now let's create a new fixture, and I'm just going to call that complicated. And we're essentially going to have the same test code. Now, this here looks like it could be extracted into a helper function, right? So let's do that instead of repeating ourselves. Okay, and now that can die. That's now a function, and that's now a function. Okay, and then this is also a function now. Oops. So let's extract this out. So this is going to be a time difference function. Okay, and that is going to take a date. And return that. And so now here we go. This is going to be output JSON .date. And I'm just going to break this apart a little bit so that we can sort of visualize what's happening a little bit better. Yep. So we expect the time difference of the output JSON date to be less than 1 second. And here we can get rid of that and do the same thing. And let's use new lines and indentation to be more expressive. Cool. Alright, so we've managed to do a quick refactor of the test as we grow it, and now it's a little bit tidier. And now let's create a complicated fixture. Advanced. Okay, so let's maybe just rename this complicated. So we now have a post title. We have some tags. And I'm not sure exactly how I want these tags to be visualized or typed. Maybe something like that. Or even, I guess we probably don't even need the... Okay, actually I think it's better to have the braces around them, just so that you can have multi-word tags in there. Okay, so we've got, this is a title, we've got the tags, we got the content, and I think that's enough for now. Maybe what we'll do is we'll say pipes, and we expect this to go into the Reddit pipe, the Twitter pipe, and the Hacker News pipe. What else? Maybe Facebook pages. And let's say recipients. Oh, here we go. So we can say R watch people code. Alright. So now what we're saying here is like this document, this markdown document, this note that we've just taken, if we chose to publish this, we would override the pipes with what we've put here. So if I clicked send, it would submit it to the Watch People Code subreddit, it would submit to Twitter, it would submit to Hacker News, and update Facebook pages. Right? And for any of these pipes that supported tags, so for instance, Twitter, these tags would be turned into hashtags, and so on. Okay, so how would we ingest a document like this? Well, first of all, let's write an assertion. Let's bring this down here so we've got a reference. Can we put it down here? Not quite. Alright. So with this document as reference, you know what? I don't give a shit about the date anymore. We've already tested that. And I don't actually give a shit about the content either. I suppose, yeah, we do give a shit about the content because it would be easy to accidentally leave all this crap here in the content. So, yeah, let's assert on that. Okay, so what do we think the title should be after this document is ingested? Well, we think the title should be this is a title, right? Without a new line at the end. We expect the tags to be an array, and that should contain JavaScript, Python, and development. And our pipes should be another array containing Reddit/r/watch people code and Twitter. Wow, that pop-up's getting really annoying, isn't it? Okay, so Twitter, Hacker News, and you know what? We don't need the last one. It's getting too long for my test. Oh wait. Alright, cool. So when we ingest this document down here, we expect these values to be passed and output. So if I run my tests, test, I should get a failure. Send out lines is not defined. What? Yep. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to